Thank you for joining Vancouver Bitcoiners. Please enjoy our next guest speaker. Thank you to our sponsors, Adaptech Group, Canada's premier event-driven development company, and Bull Bitcoin, Canada's premier Bitcoin company since 2013.
My name's Ethan. I am representing Feral Analysis here. Basically, we are a company that outsources analysis services for any kind of asset that is chartable, basically. So stocks, ETFs, Bitcoin especially, and other crypto products. Mainly Bitcoin though. I also do some consulting for trading analysis and basically introductory level Bitcoin consulting as well. My website, feralanalysis.com, Twitter, @analysisferal. Just started that a little while ago. I just posted one or two things today. I think those are the first things I've posted there, but there'll be more to come there in the future. And email as well if you're interested in contacting us. So I'll just dive right into what we'll do for you today is a weekly time frame analysis on the Bitcoin USD chart. It's a brave new coin liquid index, which is basically an average of exchange prices. And this is similar to what I would provide to clients here. I use basically a variety of technical analysis techniques to determine significant price levels and basically give you kind of a framework to be able to make decisions on whether you would like to buy or sell at certain points. We're not a financial services company. I don't take people's money in to invest for them. I just help people with making their own decisions about investing. So, I know those numbers might be a little tough to see there. Hopefully they show up okay. I'll go over them anyways here. This was printed out a couple days ago. We're pretty much right around the same level right now. I hope, unless it crashed a few minutes ago. Basically though, on a weekly basis, and I would even say probably on a daily closing basis, anything below 18,000 right now is probably gonna bump us to take out the low at 17.5. Right now, everybody is looking down at the $14,000 level. I've got it marked here as 13,800, which is a very significant level from the run-up years ago. But because there's so many people looking at this same level, it's probably not likely to reverse right at that point. What it might do is run a little bit ahead of it. So I'm kind of looking at the $16,500 level as a potential low if we do dip below 18 here. And then below that, I would be looking at 14, 13,000 level. But I think it might just shoot straight through there. And the low target for me is 11,600, 11,500 is kind of my estimated target for a low point on a capitulation here. Now that is not guaranteed by any means. I believe there are a lot of buyers down in the $10,000 area, so we would probably run a little ahead of them. Once we close below 11,500 here, it kind of gets ugly, and there's a lot of potential levels that we could reverse in this area here below 11,000. 9,000, 7,000 are a couple maybe significant levels, but it's pretty hard to call a bottom. It's better off just watching how it reacts at the different levels and then kind of make a decision after that. $4,500 I've got marked here as basically the line of death, I would call it. Any close below there probably isn't going to happen unless there's a major fundamental flaw in Bitcoin or the world is going into complete chaos and the fiat system is crashing and burning. But let's hope that doesn't happen. So those are kind of the lower levels we're looking at. Right now we have been kind of grinding down at this 18, 19, or $18 to $20,000 level, let's call it, for a while. Sellers are kind of exhausted in this area. So the selling pressure hasn't been that strong, but there hasn't been much buying either, mainly because of the global macroeconomic conditions going on now. People are afraid to invest money in anything. Basically, everything's kind of going down while the US dollar is getting stronger. That kind of scenario doesn't usually last for an extended period of time, though. So there's a chance we could move up from this level here. Short term, I'm looking at this basically $23,000 level as a bit of a midterm ceiling, where if we do pump and then go back down, 23,000 is probably the level we'll stop at if we do get a little momentum. If we do get above that, we're looking at 25,000 as the next level. But I think if we close above 23, there's a very strong chance we'll at least make it up to the $29,000 level here, which is marked right here. Now, to get above there, we probably need economic and market conditions to improve a little more. So that's pretty, I would say, unlikely at this point unless we see some clarity as far as interest rates and inflation and those things start to improve. But a close above 29,000, we're talking weekly closes here. These are weekly candles. Above 29,000 likely leads us up to 37,000. And then I have that as a very strong level here. I don't expect to close above there unless we're moving up and likely heading to new highs. But closing above 37,000 opens up this level all the way up to 55,000, I would say. So as soon as we see a close above 37,000, I would be looking at basically 53,000 as a nice target area, and then a close above 55,000 would have me looking for new highs in price. And when we go beyond that to these unexplored levels, it's a little more theoretical than some of the other analysis, but I think 89,000 US is a significant level. We'll probably see some resistance at if we do make it up there. And beyond that, 152,000 would be kind of my next major level if we got to close above there. And beyond that, who knows? So that's basically my analysis here. If anyone has any questions, please let me know.
I have a question.
Yep.
So in your chart, where would you say the front running on the halving is going to begin if you took a look? Have you got a sense of that?
I haven't looked at that timing wise. I think, what is it, 2024, April, May 2024, somewhere around there. I mean, I would expect the stock market to begin recovering before then. So you may see it get front run significantly earlier if the overall market conditions improve. That wouldn't surprise me. But otherwise, I would look to kind of historically the 4-year cycle and where it's happened. I haven't looked at that stuff in detail much yet, so I don't have a strong conviction on what I'm saying there. But yeah, I think if the market really starts picking up, say by mid 2023, I think you could just see basically a continual buying pressure on Bitcoin into the typical halving buying. Yep.
When you say you have like certain targets for lows that you're looking at, are you looking at historical data, or are you looking at like the limit orders that are currently out there in terms of like, how do you make that analysis?
Mainly historical data and projections based on different types of analysis. Fibonacci retracements is one thing I use a lot, but I also use other techniques to kind of get confluence with that idea and try and find these levels. So
Is it the basic idea that you're trying to model what other people are thinking? Is this like, just trying to think of,
yeah,
just, you can look at like, Fibonacci or these like mathematic things, but in reality, you're, in some sense, you're trying to think of what other people would
Yes.
multiply at, right?
Yeah.
In some sense, you're trying to model.
Technical analysis is behavioral economics.
Yeah, so it's like
Exactly.
trying to model like what other people would be thinking.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's you know, if too many people are thinking the same thing and going on one side of the trade, so to speak, it usually doesn't work out. So if, like I said, everybody's looking at 14,000, so I just don't think we're going to bottom at 14,000. It might be above 14,000, it might be below 14,000. So looking at that and looking at buying interest and just kind of market sentiment, that's why I kind of picked the $11,600 level, because I think, and I mean, there's a chance like 16,500 holds as well. But I think if we get to 14, I think we're going to dump through it. And I basically think there's a lot of buying interest in the 10K area. And then usually if there's tons and tons of orders in one area, we're not going to get there and we're going to stop just short of it. So that's kind of my approach to picking that number.
My second question is, so you said that if we dump further, it would be like catastrophic. But wouldn't it be better if it was cheaper?
Better for me.
Well, better if you're buying. If you're buying, from a chart perspective, that $4,500 level, it would signal to basically every analyst and trader that this chart is extremely bearish. It's broken. Don't put your money in it. So from an investment standpoint, well, it is. But just with the way the chart looks now, breaking down to that level would basically just unravel the market structure of the chart. So that's
So if
why
you're an average Joe who just wants to get some cheap Bitcoin, you would have an advantage over the technical traders.
If you see it,
yes, yeah. But I mean, it depends what happens. Like I said, I think we would need a major bearish macroeconomic event for Bitcoin to go that low. I mean, it's possible on a black swan event that it wicks down and bounces right back up again to down there. I still think it's very unlikely. Personally, from what I've gathered, I think there are tons of people looking for 10K and sub 10K prices, and people are just going to gobble it up if it gets down there. So I just don't see it going that low. But yeah, is it a great time to buy? Usually, unless there's some other major factor where, like the every first world economy is the government's left and nobody's running the show and we're in total chaos like that, then maybe you don't want to be buying at 4,500 at that point, but maybe you do.
based on some of the people in office, that might be okay.
Yeah.
And in the post, it's fine.
Would probably work better, but yeah, go
Are
ahead.
you willing to speak to level or your kind of conviction on each of those price levels? How much cash are you saving for each one of those? So you know, at this level, I'm 90% in and I'm holding 10% back. Like, how confident
Yeah.
are you that it hits each of those?
Right now, I'm
Cash percentages, that'd be great.
going about 30% in at this level. If we go below this level, I'll commit another 30% to where it settles. If we get there, yeah. So I would probably go another 30% at 14, and then I would save another 30% if we go below there to 11, 12, 10,000 area. I would probably do another 30% there. And this is just my personal allocation and opinion. Other people might want to do it differently.
Applaud you for speaking to it.
Yeah, no problem. I stand behind it. Everything, this is also posted on my website, and I did post it on my Twitter. So if you do want to see a more detailed written report, that is posted there. Yeah, and I stand behind it. And hey, this isn't, magic. It's not like it's going to hit it perfectly. If I get lucky, maybe it will, and everyone says, "Oh, that guy's a genius." But it's based on historical significance and human behavioral mathematics. I would say basically is what we're looking at for most of this stuff. So there is some science to it, but you can't predict everything. There are unknowable factors that work themselves in there. So,
General disclaimer, not financial advice.
no, this is not financial advice. This is my opinion on what I think will happen, and you're free to do as you choose. Yep.
What's your take on the fact that for over the last 2 months we've been almost stable with the dollar, with every other fiat currency
Yeah.
down with the dollar? Is that a good sign, or is?
Yes, yeah. So that's one thing I didn't mention. In the last few weeks, Bitcoin has actually shown a lot of resiliency and a lot of strength because the stock market, the S&P, made new lows a few weeks ago, and Bitcoin didn't. Bitcoin held the $17,500 level. So for it not to make a new low while the stock market did, that's showing that there is some strength there, and there is potential for a move up from here or a move up from maybe just below this level. Anybody else?
Yeah. A quick question. I noticed you also do technical analysis on precious metals.
Yep.
So 2 years ago, we heard Bitcoin was a store of value, just like gold and silver. And so I'm curious, with the fall in tech markets, the fall of that, except for the recent exception that you just mentioned, what's your perspective on Bitcoin as a store of value going forward? In the sense of why wasn't it this past 2 years?
I still don't think enough people understand Bitcoin to perceive it as a store of value. So right now it's perceived as more of a risk-on asset. It trades similarly to a tech stock. So I think it's getting there, but it's not there yet. And that's the thing. A lot of people expected, oh, this is my store of value. Why did it go down? Well, everything goes down when the market goes down. Even gold and silver. Gold, which is a great store of value, it tanks when the market tanks. Everything basically flees to, right now, the US dollar. So a store of value, and even things like precious art, they say is a good store of value. Well, it still drops down when the market drops. It's just that once the market finds a bottom, it will quickly regain its value or be maybe one of the first movers in value up from there. It still can become a store of value, and I think it still acts that way to a degree, but nothing holds its value in the theoretical way that people expect it to in these kind of market conditions. So, just pick one thing. What else is holding its value right now? There's really nothing. I mean, you could argue the US dollar, but they're printing so much of it, it really isn't, because you still have to spend more dollars to pay for anything out there. So,
Real estate's holding its value.
yeah, it is, but it's dropping as well. It's dropping as well. So, yeah.
I would also say anything on a path to monetization, like where you're going from zero to that, it's going to be a very volatile. There's so much space to cover that you're going to have ups and downs in there. So it's kind of a natural process as it monetizes.
Well, if you look at the price of gold during the Weimar Republic,
Yeah,
exactly. It was going really volatile.
Yeah, if you look at gold in the Weimar Republic there, it didn't necessarily, year to year, month to month, it didn't necessarily hold its value, but over the course of that period, it did. So
Yeah.
it's zooming out.
That's exactly it. Stores of value still drop significantly when the market drops. It's just that they will recover, and some other things will not. So I still think it can be a better store of value than it's showing itself to be now. I just think we're still too early.
All you need to know is one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, and one fiat dollar is who knows what the hell one fiat dollar is day to day.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you something. You say something very true about the fact that silver go up and down, like Bitcoin. But there is the point that gold doesn't go really down. So what I want to ask you is, how can be vision of the future, the possibility that Bitcoin becomes strong in the same way it is strong gold, respecting to the other like platinum, silver that do this that you say, but gold doesn't do it. So there is the possibility that Bitcoin become something strong like that, and you're here.
Yeah.
I want to ask you.
Do I believe it can become that? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, economically, it just makes way more sense than the current system. So I think we just need more people to understand what it is and what the shortcomings and failures of the current economic system are. A lot of people just don't understand that. They don't understand what money printing does. They don't understand why the value of the dollar is dropping and why.
Related in your case about the fact that many people don't know, for instance, what platinum is, what the value is, respect to God, but all the people who don't know what it is. So the money Bitcoin arrive to a knowledge and usage similar to gold, let's say, it get that strong. That can be an answer.
I mean, I think a lot of people understand roughly what Bitcoin is and that it exists, but they don't understand the economic argument for Bitcoin. And that's what needs to change, I think, for Bitcoin to become a store of value. All right. Thanks.
A big thank you to Vancouver Bitcoiners executive crew. This would not happen without all of you. And finally, big thank you to Murdoch Media for producing all of these episodes.